Oh, this pain. Why am I still alive? Where am I? Oh, Sir Knight. What are you doing here? Oh, my side. It's bandaged. Have you done this, sir? Oh, no. Did you see? Do you know? I'm sorry I deceived you, Sir Knight. I took advantage of your generosity and became your squire under my brother's name to learn the way of the sword in order to... Well, I'm sure it doesn't matter now that I've shown my face as a traitor to the crown. Does the king still live? Then I have failed my father's memory. I deserve to die. If not for my attempt on the king's life, then for impersonating a man and serving under you. This is so. Yet you bandage my wounds and hide me away here in your manor. Why would you strive to keep me safe when I tried to take my own life in the first place? I know you to be a man of exemplary honor and care, but you should not involve yourself with the likes of me any further. If the king were to know. You wish to understand my reasons. You are too kind, Sir Knight, to be interested in such things. Perhaps I am just a mercenary, or a madwoman, trying to overthrow the kingdom. Oh, and what do you know of my character? All of our time spent together, my hours training and serving you, all of this has been founded on lies. Then you wish to know the truth. Very well, then. But once I am finished, then I will make a request of you. I have always been told that I did not know my place as a woman. I was too brash, too unladylike. When my brother was called to war by that false monarch, I longed to take his place. He was not trained to fight, and yet they sent him to the slaughter as a sacrifice. He was a gentle soul, kinder and more beloved than I. For him to die in battle in such a way, it was unforgivable. My brother and I were all my father had left in this world, and the news of his son's death broke his spirit. I watched him fall into destitution, despair, debauchery. On his deathbed he begged me to see to it all, to avenge my brother's death, but what could I do? A lowly woman. I had no more reach to the king than a common rat. At first, I admit I took to the streets, trying to learn what I could of the king from the shadows, stealing and running with criminals. When I heard how fond this king was of a certain prostitute in a certain brothel, yes, you know of whom I speak, and that he allowed her to live in the court, I thought this could be my path. For all my boyishness, I had many admirers before my father died. I knew my looks to be valuable. Womanhood had been a poison to me until then. Perhaps it could be used as a weapon against him. The work was vile, too horrible to say. But I moved within the ranks. From inside the brothel I spread what rumors I could about the king's favorite. I was nearly done for when many of the other women became leprous, and those from the court would no longer dare to visit. But then I was called to the side of one of my regulars. Sir Kinsley. Do you know him? You know, it was through my association with him that I first saw you. In the courtyard, sparring with another knight. I thought you were glorious. Something pure and holy. My own life being so dark and hellish. When you had finished your game, you even graced me with a smile. We felt worlds apart. I thought perhaps I'd like to speak with you someday, but I had my task at hand. Sir Kinsley brought me into the court as a servant to his daughter, but of course I barely did any work for her. I was kept separate, as someone he thought was lesser. But I did have my chance to catch the king's eye. When I was brought to his bed one evening, I was sure that was my opportunity. He was blubberous, cruel, and far dumber than I'd imagined. How could such a man be ordained by God to run a kingdom? How could this fool have demanded my brother's death? Yet while he slept soundly beside me, unarmed, unshielded from my wrath, I could not kill him. My womanly weakness prevailed. I fled, astounded at my own pathetic nature, and swore I would find another chance. And when I did, I would not falter. Now that I could no longer reach him as a woman, I resigned myself to living as a man. I had to learn how to wield a sword. I picked up what I could on my travels, but when I heard that your own Squire had died of disease, I took my chance and submitted myself to you under my brother's name. It's not surprising that you accepted me. My family name has always been respected, and you... Do you remember what you said to me when I came to you, scared and impassioned? You told me my eyes were full of bravery. I loved you then. I swore to serve you, and for a time I nearly forgot my purpose. All of those hours training with you, nights out camping and traveling, hearing your stories of heroic acts, seeing the kindness you would extend to even the lowest of us, I never wanted to be parted from you. What a fool I was to think our companionship could go on forever while that man still reigned. I'm sorry I used your great deeds and invitation to the castle as a means to attempt my assassination. As I said, you are someone who does God's works, a good person, while perhaps I am too tainted, like the devil himself. I am not worthy of your gaze, Sir Knight. Please do not look upon me. That is my story. Now it is time for my request. Please kill me here and now. I grow weary of this life of failure and hardship. I no longer have you. I have nothing. End my misery and claim your reward for killing a traitor. Why do you take my hand after all I've told you? Take up your sword and do as I ask. Please, I'm begging you. Do not send me to the shackles and public execution. You claimed that I was brave, but I am afraid to die that way. If you ever cared for me as your squire, if I ever served you well, please spare me that end. Do not teach me to hope by brushing my cheeks so. Your pity blinds me. How can one such as you exist in such a cold world? Do you not understand? I deceived you. What do you mean? You couldn't have recognized me from that day in the courtyard. I took great pains to change my appearance when I came to you. My hair, my bindings, you couldn't have... When did you meet my brother in battle? I see. Do not look so sorry, dear knight. He was doomed to die. You could not have saved him. And you have watched over me all of our time together. I cannot comprehend your goodness. What do you mean to do with me now? Stay here with you. I cannot allow you to live at such a risk. The nunnery. Oh, Sir Knight, you cannot be serious. With my past. Very well. If you are going to make such threatening jokes, I will stay here with you, but only until I'm better. Yes, I will stay confined to this hall in secret until you give me leave to go. Yes, Sir Knight, I will rest now. I do feel rather faint. Will you be here when I awaken in the morning? I am glad to see your shining face. It will overtake the very sunrise.